that was silly, ridiculous, a waste of time. They didn't want. That's why they were so successful. That's why they got away.
I made a living in it very dangerous.
This is really an integrated blue society.
Dianne Andrews in black and white.
Hello, this is Fuji Totes. I just found out Fuji could not come in with me, so I'm making a little video for you to see how the pillow works with the doggy in it. As you see, Fuji's in here in the bottom of this. At the end, after I take him out, I'm going to take all the things that are in here with him that you need on a trip, or whether you're just going, for an afternoon, everything you need to take the dog. I have driven all the way to Las Vegas, Nevada, and taken Fuji and my other dog on multiple with me with their meds, their leashes, their water, cup, and whatever, in one pack, a couple of packs of food are in the bottom of this. By the way, I even have a COVID test. If you think your dog has COVID, it's in the bottom here that you can carry. And I'm going to show you, even with all that in the bottom, he can still lay here and feel nothing. You see him sitting down on it? He can still do that with all the things in there. And I'll show you what was in there. He had a Play-Doh. He had the COVID test, as I laughed about. He has a heavy leash. He has a water bottle. He has some food. And another leash. This pillow only weighs about 3 pounds. So whatever you need in your necessities are for your dog can go in here, along with the dog as you carry him wherever you want to go. To the park. And I'll tell you, sometimes I use this to put things as I go outside. So this is Fuji's Totes. And they are patented. Now, I'm going to show you in the presentation the large pillow. All of these are multifunctional pillows that can be used for cover-ups, for totes, for luggage. And I'm going to tell you the story how I started Fuji Totes. Fuji was, but anyway, I'll say that personally to you. I don't have to tell you all that now. Thank you. Welcome to Dianne Andrews in black and white. I'm your host, Dianne Andrews. I want to thank you, audience, for being a part of the family of Dianne Andrews in black and white. I've been doing this 9 years. I get stopped. Most people like it. Some people ask me, and they say, well, you're that girl on TV, right? I look at them and I say, yeah. And they say, oh, I like it because we check you and everything you say is pretty much correct. And I get people who follow me, but the key is we get debate going on. I like people who have dissension with what I say, but doing it in the right way. America has gone wrong right now with the way we don't agree to disagree. I agree to disagree with everybody. I do people on the show, Republicans, Democrats, left, right, or any subject. Don't like gays because I've done shows with transgenders. I've done shows with atheists. I do shows with everybody who has a voice, respectively. Come on back. We're going to talk to someone today. When I take break, I want you to come back. Because we're talking about violence. I mentioned murders, rapes, criminals, which we have a lot of them that don't have to be illegal. Don't get me wrong. There are a lot here. We don't need to bring any more. But there's a very good friend of mine, a conservative podcaster, radio host, and streamer. Several months back, took a trip. He was near Alexandria, Louisiana. And someone attempted to carjack him. I had to look, when I explain this, what's the difference between carjacking and just stealing a car? Carjacking means you're in the car. The car is occupied. Stealing, of course, you're not in the car. No one's in the car. But come on and back and listen to this harrowing story of how a legal gun saved him and his wife's life. Come on back to Dianne Andrews in black and white.
Actually, it was Mother's Day weekend. So Mother's Day, the night before Mother's Day, and we were traveling up to northern Louisiana.
My old territory.
Exactly. My wife's mom had just died about a year before that, or 8 months before that.
Where's she from? That little LeConte?
Yeah, they're from Natchitoches area.
Oh, that's what she's from.
So the night before Mother's Day, we were to go to her mom's old house and stay the night, we put flowers on our mom's grave the next day. So the Mother's Day weekend had some meaning to it.
I knew
my
I liked
wife.
her. She's a North Louisiana girl too.
Exactly right. She sure is. She's a country girl.
Yeah, like me.
And so on the way up there for that special day, the next day, Mother's Day. We stop for a bathroom break at a gas station. We go in, we use the bathroom, and whenever we go to the place, we always buy something from the place that patronizes the place for us to use the restroom there. So we came out, and but when we got back out to the car, there was another car parked next to us. And it was kind of parked a little cockeyed. Anybody, when you're walking to your car, especially if you're a female like yourself, and you see a car parked next to you, and your gut feeling tells you something's up, something's up.
Right.
And so
we have that ESP women do.
Oh yeah. Oh exactly.
Yeah.
So either way, I said, well, just get in the car because she wanted to drive. So she got in the driver's seat. I got in the passenger seat. And as soon as I closed the door, I heard a male voice say something. I turned over to her, and as I look over to the car door, I see a man holding a gun, finger on the trigger, and he says, "Get out of the car, or I'm going to kill you. Don't make me kill you. Get out of the car." And my wife says, "Oh my God!"
She was driving, so he was
she
on
was
her
in the car.
side.
She was it was on her side. So she said. So she asked, "Honey, it's okay. We're going to give him the car. He can have everything in it." So we were getting ready to get out of the car, he shoved the gun to her face.
Oh my God!
Pulling my gun out.
Right.
Because he's already said, "Don't put your hands in your pocket." And I have to take a chance that he doesn't know.
Yeah.
But then I also have to be cognizant of the fact that he may be watching me.
Yeah.
Don't take the shot the first time, but when he's separated from her because he's pushing her down, and I see him bringing his gun down to her, that's my opportunity to try to get a shot off very quickly. I trip over a curb.
A curb?
A curb.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm on the ground, and I can't get up. I'm scurrying to try to get to that brick wall now. I see my wife still on the ground over there. I look down and I'm covered in blood. Stood up in a burst of energy, come around the corner, and I get 2 more rounds. I get 2 more rounds off at him. He was able, and then he got back in her car, and he took off. The reason why the police can confirm that he was going to kill us is that we were the 5th victims of the night.
And you say he was going to kill everybody, no victims, no survivors.
What happens is he shot at 2 other people.
And he missed.
And missed. And so that the cops and the investigators, as I've talked to them since then.
He killed one person, or just
no? He
not
didn't kill anybody.
No humans, just
he didn't kill anybody.
The German Shepherd, or the service dog.
The service dog.
Yeah.
He killed the service
He was probably
dog.
barking at him, gonna come get him.
And let me say something. A service dog or a dog is just is better than many humans.
That's right, better than many.
And especially better than that human.
Yes,
so,
yes.
And I'll say that because you kill a dog, that's
pretty low down.
Yeah, that's low. I mean, look, killing humans low down, but
yes, and a dog.
Either way,
both.
So, but that the police said based on his, on the track
Lucky more
record
people weren't killed.
and the amount of people that he attempted to carjack, he needed and wanted to get away, and that was how.
Is he dead? Did they kill him?
No, he's in jail right now.
Do they know why he went on this?
He's on $4 million of bond. He's got eight attempted murder charges and almost 30 other charges.
One day he did this.
In one evening, one afternoon.
Did something go, you don't know, but I wonder if something went haywire in his life. All of a sudden he tries and he steals all these cars. He must be a part of a syndicate, huh? Because he can't steal. How many did he really steal?
The investigation's not over.
Yeah. How many did he really steal? Do you know?
Well, he stole the neighbor's car, the first car, and he stole and totaled ours.
So he wasn't that great of a carjacker.
No.
Out of 8 attempts, he gets 1 car.
He only gets 2 cars.
2, but yours got. I mean, if he was really still out there,
two cars
yours
and
is
2 cars,
wrecked.
5 attempts, 2 cars.
Yeah.
So what's that? About 20%.
Oh, I thought you said that he tried 8 that day.
We only tried 5 that day.
Oh, 5 that day. Had he ever carjacked before? Do you know?
We don't know. We don't know about any priors or anything like that.
I'm gonna
the
say
investigation's not over. So
he happens to be a black guy, but Kamala Harris's plan now that she announced 2 days ago on Charlemagne the God show, big show, is to give black men. This is black men, and I think that's against the Constitution. Like they want to pay off college students' debts. That's against the Constitution. You can't segment one group of people.
But is it when you think about?
But let me tell you what. Do you know what it is? It's $20,000 to start a business, and she's gonna open up legal marijuana businesses to black men. Are we the only people who can sell marijuana? To me, that sounds a little.
It sounds a little racist.
Very racist on a woman saying, "I'm gonna give y'all legal marijuana to sell."
So,
that's in her plan.
So you're going to say it's only available to black men,
right?
Which is discriminatory.
That's right.
So it's just discrimination.
That's against the Civil Rights Act.
Exactly right. And look, I love freedom.
Yes, me too.
I want everybody to have freedom.
Right.
I want everybody to have market freedom. I want everybody to have medical freedom.
That's right.
I want everybody to have the freedom to protect themselves.
Right.
You know, freedom is something that we can all unite on.
What would you agree, since you're a gun control person, a gun person?
I'm not a gun control person.
Not gun control. What do you believe that could make? Because there probably are some things that could be better. But you can, as we just said, Illinois is the toughest in the country, and more black guys die killing each other every weekend in the city of Chicago on the south side of any place in the world. It's like a renegade there.
Exactly. The government does nothing
and
to
Obama
protect
is
them.
from there, but he can get up. Certain people were pretty upset that he preached to them, telling black guys that they may be sexist if they don't vote for Kamala Harris. Did you hear that speech?
I've heard this. This is exactly what the playbook. And let's take color out of this.
Yeah, Communist Manifesto.
Yeah. Any time you segment groups,
right,
and target them, whether you're trying
fight amongst each
whether
other
you're benefit, you're using them for their benefit, for your own benefit, or whether you are using them to get votes. It's discrimination. It's racist. It's only perpetuating racism. One group might think, wow, this is to benefit me.
Yeah.
But you're promoting racism in other ways, and it's only going to circle back. It's a boomerang.
Yes.
Negativity like that is a boomerang. You know, what her actions are going to hurt the same group of people she's claiming to help is to hurt them later.
One of the commentators was saying they did some of this before because, you know, the legal marijuana, you sell it like it goes through dispensaries, doesn't it? People can open them that way. So I guess they're going to give so many, like 80-90% to black guys to sell, but it's probably not going to happen. And Charlamagne asked her about reparations. What did she do? What would she do with reparations? Did she agree? Now, she was the AG in California. They've been studying it in California for 20 years. And they throw this carrot in front of you. They do the same thing to the Hispanic dreamers. We're going to make you all citizens. We're going to make you all citizens. They had the House, the Senate, and Joe Biden. They didn't do it. Under Obama, they had the House, the Senate, and Obama. Out of the 8 years, I think they had the whole thing for 5.
That's right.
And they didn't do it. Out of the last 16 years, people, we've only had 4 years of a Republican. And that was Donald Trump out of the last 16. Out of the last 50, pretty much they've run this country.
That's right.
And even with the House, I don't think we've had that many speakers of the House. And now they're saying they want to get rid of the Supreme Court. They want to make D.C. a state. And that means it's always communist. It'll be a one-party system is what you're talking about.
When you look at what they say and what they do, and you think about Biden, for instance. Remember, Biden authored the most racist crime bill in American history.
Right. And said, I don't want my kids going to school in a black jungle.
And now let's think about
he was the pallbearer for the Klan members.
Exactly
Robert Byrd and Strom Thurmond.
Exactly.
He was their best friend. The first person he went to see when he decided to run for the Senate was Robert Byrd.
That's right.
To ask him how as he went. And he told him to get black people on your side.
Can you imagine if Donald Trump said that black children were like cockroaches?
That's right. Did he say cockroaches?
When Joe Biden said that he was a lifeguard, he said that the black kids used to come up and rub his legs.
Yes,
and it felt like cockroaches run up and down.
I know he said they came and rubbed his leg. I know he said they felt like cockroaches.
He said it felt like cockroaches run up and down his leg.
He probably wanted to take down and slap him off his leg.
But when you think about these things,
you think he was really a lifeguard? You think she really worked at McDonald's?
No. This is Joe Biden. This is Joe Biden.
I'm making a joke between the two of them. You think those stories are even true?
Exactly right. But I want you to think about something else too.
You know she's from Montreal, Canada. I think I told you.
Yes.
From ages, she always, and I have to say this because the story, every time, I'm just a middle-class girl, and my mother couldn't buy a house till I was a teenager. You in Montreal, Canada. I don't know how they calculate what's middle class in Canada versus in America. I don't know. But you're formative years were in Montreal, Canada. She went to Westmont High, which I put up in one of my last shows. We'll put it up, her pictures in the graduating class. But she never says where she's from. The only person I've ever heard say it, I hadn't heard CNN or MSNBC or the Comedy Channel say that she is from Montreal, Canada, y'all. Those are your formative teenage years, from 9 to 18. Then she went to Howard University at 18.
I agree with you 100%. Now, I want you to think about something else, too. Lyndon Baines Johnson. Go back in time a little
Johnson?
bit. LBJ.
Uh-huh.
When he signed the Civil Rights Act.
I'm going to tell you the story behind that. I'm writing my 6th book on that right now.
And then when they redid all the Great Society
was Democrats.
to be exactly when they redid the Great Society, and they were going to do this great thing to help the black community, the minority community,
right? Which was mostly blacks.
Which was mostly blacks back then.
Yeah.
When they took fathers out of the home,
right?
When they said, "Here's this great gift we're going to give you,"
but aid to the men and children, but no men.
Exactly. You decimate the black family,
and that's what he did.
And that was when black families had lower divorce rates than white families.
That's right.
Black families had a higher entrepreneurial rate than black families.
Because we had our own little communities and we were our own businesses.
And black children scored equally on testing as white children. And it's also when the abortion laws come out. That's also when Margaret Sanger starts Planned Parenthood.
And they put all the Planned Parenthood in the black community.
They came out with all these gifts to get
20
votes.
million black kids have died from Planned Parenthood.
So they come out with all these gifts.
That's more than we are in the country.
For black families.
You sure I read it was, okay, anyway, a big number, whatever.
Over the years since it came out.
Yeah.
So when you look at all of these gifts that they say, but they don't show the landmines that are under the gifts.
Yeah.
Okay? And what happens?
Because, we're only 45 million we're only 13% of 330. Well, it's probably 250 million now. People in the country.
But again,
we're only 13%. The largest minority is Hispanic.
It should never be about color.
No, it shouldn't.
But
go back further than that. Wait, William, go back further than LBJ. And I'm going to tell you the story with that because I'm writing. I'm doing, I did a documentary on the Silver Dollar Group of the Klan. My second documentary is on the wade-ins and the swim-ins and the sit-ins that you remember the sit-ins.
Right.
If I asked anybody what's a wade-in, I think I may have asked hundreds of people, only one or two ever knew, and I didn't know before I started investigating. But I did a show on it, part of my documentary, in Biloxi, Mississippi. It was where they pulled us off the beaches and they beat our butt and took us to jail. On public property in the beaches of Biloxi is one. I did the show already on Biloxi. In fact, if you ever go to Biloxi, I would tell anybody to go to the museum there. They have a display of everything that happened during the wade-ins. It's called Black Monday. They did 3 days of demonstrations going to the beaches as King used to go to the sit-ins at the campus. Right. You always saw that. We knew about that. But because 64 didn't cure the problem with the beaches and the public pools, they still were very prejudiced. But I'm going to tell you, I'm getting ready. If St. Augustine is left, I don't know if there's anything left there, but that was the biggest wade-in ever. Wade-in, swimming, and sit-in Martin Luther King did there, all three.
Wow, that's amazing.
He did a sit-in. He went to jail. And the wade-in, while he was in jail, he asked all the Jewish people, he called some rabbis to come down and be at this hotel. Munson Hotel was the name of it. Now it's still there. It's a hill. It was there up until 2 weeks ago because I was getting ready to go down there. They have a museum on this in St. Augustine, Florida also. But anyway, people jumped. He had people come in. King was out of jail then. He and Andrew Young and Ralph Abernathy, who took over the SCLC. King was SCLC. He wasn't NAACP. He was over the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. He was not, a lot of people don't realize it was two organizations back then, which were needed and at that time. But they were across in another hotel. So if they saw King, they knew something was up. Jewish people, the rabbis, got in the hotels and they got the rooms. They could get rooms. Black people couldn't. So they called all the black people to go in that room, and change clothes in the Jewish people's room. So then they all jumped. It was about 30 people, blacks, jumped in the pool at the Munson Hotel at the same time. They poured lye on them. And the guard jumped in, policeman jumped in with a gun in his holster and pulled it out at people in the pool, in the black people telling them to get out. Martin Luther King called LBJ. And LBJ told Hubert Humphrey, we shouldn't have niggers getting almost shot at and poured lye on in a pool. We got to sign this Civil Rights Act. There were 25 Dixiecrats, Democrats from the South,
Right.
that would not sign the bill. It was 60 of them. It was 40 Republicans. Eric Dirksen got every Republican. He was a leader, minority whip. He got every Republican to sign that bill for civil rights. The reason we have civil rights today is that law is the Republican Party. To this day, that is the longest filibuster in the history of this country. 11 days, Democrats talked about why we shouldn't vote and we shouldn't be able to have voting rights, because voting rights was a part of that too, more voting rights. And then they went out and did more Jim Crow than anybody after Lincoln. And I just have to say this because I'm doing so much in history now, I just love it. History is a wonderful thing. After our Republican, greatest Republican president ever, Abraham Lincoln, greatest president ever, Abraham Lincoln, did you know what his vice president was? He was a Democrat. Andrew Johnson was a Democrat. 6 weeks later, he was dead. They killed him, right? They assassinated. A Democrat assassinated him.
Exactly.
Andrew Johnson blocked Reconstruction every way he could. He promised Lincoln that he would help bring the country together, and that's why Lincoln got Andrew Johnson. He was a slave owner.
Right.
Big plantations, big slaves. I don't know why he chose him, but he was not a good one. I don't think. I have a feeling he may have known that he was about to get killed and he was going to take over. He became president. He stopped Reconstruction. He blocked it every which way. He did everything he could to block the goodness of what had been done with the Civil War. More men died in the Civil War as a volunteer army than all the other wars in this country put together. So people need to really think. I just did something on human trafficking. There are 5 million slaves in this country today. 5 million in America. Human trafficked.
We have more slaves in history now
than we
ever
had during our
Civil War.
slavery,
Exactly
black
right.
slavery. When
Nobody does anything about it, though.
Right, I said it in the human trafficking show. We let 4 million out after the Civil War. More slaves were down in South America. It was 11 million. They're shipwrecked or whatever happened. They ended up in South America and all the islands. That's why there's so many people of Native African history in the islands and in South America. So people just need to know your history, and slavery is horrible. It didn't start in America. It's been around ever since this country and the world has been around.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And nobody does anything about all the slaves all over the world
That's
right now.
Even right now, like you say, nobody's saying we have more slaves in this country today than we had under black slavery.
But nobody cares because it doesn't make a
'Cause
narrative. Because most of it's for sex slaves, and
But you know what we talked about with Beth's show, and Father Chuck. That was a father who was he's over the human trafficking program there to the safe house for the ladies. They have organs. They have organ slavery too, which I didn't know that much about. He brought that up. There are 4 types now. I knew about the others: sex and job, of course, work. They kind of go together with the women. They rape them just like they did slaves in my time.
Correct.
But now they have organ trafficking too. I didn't know.
Right.
I didn't know about that. It's terrible.
they're bringing people across the border
And cutting out their organs and selling them. Some of them they don't even bring across the border. Just take them to a hospital over there, cut out their organs, and kill the person.
Exactly.
It's horrible what is going on in this world
Exactly
today.
right.
And with more people across the border, more fentanyl coming across the border.
But they're still talking about reparations that happened, 100 years ago.
Why are we worried about that now?
Exactly. But they're not worrying about the slaves that are today.
That's right.
And
in
that's,
this country.
And that's the problem, because
You're
it's all
right.
about the distraction and the shiny object.
And division.
Exactly
Distraction
right.
and division.
They're using the things that will divide you up right now for the purpose of control, to be able to win elections and keep control,
What we need to be
bring
fighting for-
our country closer to a communist country.
If we don't get the schools together, you don't have to worry. Nobody's going to get a job. All you can do maybe is sell legal marijuana, because you won't be able. They don't care. Rich people don't care because they have public schools.
Isn't that racist in
they
itself
have private
to
schools,
say
we
that
have
only
public.
black men should get this license?
Oh yeah, we said that's very racist.
Exactly right.
That's in her plan, printed.
But I think it's also a trap, because they're not changing the other laws in this country that have put more black men in prison over marijuana laws. But
who did the Second Step Act to start getting us out and to loosen those laws? Donald Trump.
Thank you.
He was the first one to do something when Obama talked about it. That's what
But Donald
made me.
Trump did
I
it.
was a Democrat under Obama, and I looked at his background and I said, "What has this man really done? Why is he running for president?"
Correct.
And he's in Chicago.
Right.
Why isn't he out there with a sign marching trying to help black guys? If you had to give the audience anything that they should do for guns, to be a great gun owner and to be able to defend themselves and other people. Because you have a concealed carry. That's why is that what you call that?
Correct. But you know, in Louisiana, we have constitutional carry now.
Yeah, that
So-
happened this year. What does that mean?
It means that legally anybody that does not have a felony, that's not a criminal, can carry a gun if they're of legal age to do so, and they can
Is
carry
that 18
concealed.
or 21?
21.
Okay.
Okay. And so at this point,
So I just need to get a license.
but let's say this: just because it's the law that they can carry, people can carry concealed. My fear is that too many people will take it for granted that I can carry a gun. I've been to the range once or twice. My fear is that they're not getting enough training. My motivation to tell people to have is to go get training.
Let me ask you then, and we're going to start shutting this down. We've talked about so many things.
Right.
You can't get two talk show hosts together. This is what happens. Do you think it should be part of gun control laws?
No.
To people
There-
to be
no, I'm against-
having to do so much, to do a little training every year?
I'm against gun control, but I think that gun training and being
How do you
trained.
make it mandatory?
It shouldn't be made mandatory.
Well, people aren't gonna do it.
But it should be promoted. It should be encouraged. There should be some motivation
Does
for
the
people to do
NRA
that.
do things like that? Didn't they
NRA
used to do training? The National
NRA
Rifle
does training.
Because
Did
there's
you-
a
did you
black
know-
guy over the National Rifle
Did you
Association.
know what the NRA's original mission was?
To promote safety and gun control.
To
guns,
arm
right?
black people.
To arm black people? No, I did not know that.
The NRA gave guns out to free black men
Wow.
to be able to protect their
What
families.
year was that? Back right after slavery?
I do
or
not
something?
know the year,
Yeah.
but I'm giving you a little tidbit.
That's
You can
good
look it
that
up.
I didn't know. That's good. You know, I love learning.
Yeah, I know you do. So that's I pull that little arrow out of my quiver and said, "Here, this is for you."
My cameraman comes over. He said, "We could talk all day." When he comes over and we start talking, because I talk about everything
this
all
is-
the time.
But I'll say this. I'll interrupt you to
Maybe that's why I'm single.
to say
Talk too
this.
much.
Being trained is the most important thing that you can do. And it's not just going and shooting a paper target. It's not saying, hey, I have the right because Louisiana has the law that gives me the right to carry concealed. You need to get your concealed carry license because you will learn things in your concealed carry classes that will give you where you can carry legally. Respect. Because it's also about respect, but it's about knowing what's right, the right gun. It might be mace, it might be a burner gun.
Yeah.
It might be other things that you can do. It's not just a gun.
Right. If you don't like guns, and I was afraid of them.
And it's being aware.
That's why I got that, the
Right.
burner thing. And in fact, Hannity, I first saw it on Hannity's show.
Right.
And you put his name in there and you get 20% off.
Exactly.
So he's promoting it, so that's good.
I love
Thanks for joining us today on this show where we wanted to teach you about guns and gun safety. And also, we always get into some current events, especially to talk show hosts. Thank you very much for being on my show, William.
Thank you, Diane.
See you
Appreciate
soon.
what you're doing.
We're going to do some other things together. See you next week. Bye-bye.